Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Coop here with another Splitgate video post. And today I'm going to be talking to you more about what my experience has been um, playing the game since its reloaded state has come out and been released to the public. Some of you may have seen my Arena Reloaded post featuring gameplay from private playtest. And while it was limited in its functionality at the time, the gameplay was actually quite smooth. What you'll see coming into this video immediately is that there's snap lagging even on the menu screen with my teammates. Um, and there's snap lag on the load in for the menus or the maps, and as well as your loadouts. And this was consistent almost every game. This was not the case during the playtest that I participated in. That lag only really occurred the first two games. After that, the rest of the 3 hour playtest ran incredibly smooth. Um, for the record, my average ping during this footage that you're seeing was plus or minus a few milliseconds, anywhere from 28 to 35. Now, I live on the extreme eastern coast of the United States, and I believe 1045's server hub is somewhere in California. That being said, um, and regardless of that fact, my ping should not be that high. Considering the fact that I know my connection gets routed through a secondary city and then bounced to that server hub. And I use software to assist in that. My ping should be nowhere near on other first-person shooters, like say Battlefield 6 or Call of Duty. God forbid that game, but the ping in those games was somewhere between 10 to 15, which for me is fantastic. I get into single digits, it's been the best ping day of my life. And if I'm somewhere between 15 and 20, that's great ping for me with my location. Um, that was first thing that I noticed. The second thing that I want to critique about this game is that they've changed the quick play selection process, in that I've found that since its re-release, the majority of the player base is not really populating all of the game types um, that are available to players. Um, this is probably a small thing to most of you, but it's something that I actually think is a glaring issue that hasn't been discussed and is not being discussed enough. Um, but there are instances in this video um, where I couldn't even find a game in certain game modes, and one of those game modes was domination. Now, for anybody that's played a first person shooter, domination is probably one of the popular versions or formats of any game to play um, in any particular first. So it's, to me, a glaring issue of player numbers. Start out with, um, it just demonstrates that a lot of the players that came to this game when it released in its full glory, and by full glory, I mean with a battle royale mode included, with class systems, with uh, abilities, with team synergy benefits. Um, those players are not returning. Um, that is another problem. Uh, you'll notice a lot of the players that I'm either paired with or playing against, we end up playing against multiple times in this video. Um, that exemplifies the point I'm just trying to make about the size of the player base at the current moment. Um, that isn't necessarily this isn't to necessarily, by the way, trash on Splitgate 2. I actually love the game. I want it to succeed. Um, and there are some things that I'm going to talk about in this video coming up where I think they actually did a good thing, a positive thing in the game. Uh, and starting with the ending of specific weapons for the specific class types. I wanted to be able to put whatever weapon on whatever character type. I didn't want them to necessarily get rid of the abilities related to those class types or those given characters. Um, and they went as far as to do that. Not only did they get rid of tying weapons to classes, but they got rid of the class system entirely. So the hero aspect of Splitgate 2 is now gone. Um, it is purely or mostly a cosmetic difference between weapons and items now. Uh, in a public post, they stated that they wanted to get rid of the weapons or items that they felt were redundant. One thing you will not see in this video is me using any of the LMGs that are newly acquired in the loadout section. I didn't spend any time loading or playing any games with those. I did during the playtest periods, and I found them to be incredibly underwhelming. Um, I felt like their damage was relative to that of the assault rifle or burst rifle you might see me using in later games in this footage. And as such, I just feel like they're basically useless. Um, Relative to the time it takes to fire the weapon to their damage, it just doesn't make sense to use it. Um, that's my personal opinion about the addition of the LMG class weapon or class of weapon um, to the game. Um, some people might feel differently about it. That's my personal opinion about it. Overall, my general opinion of this game, um, now that they've re-released it, is that they cut too much from the game. Um, I liked the hero aspect. I liked the team play aspect. Um, I liked that your choices influenced um, how your team could, should, or would handle a certain map or game type. Um, I liked having to think about that, having to calculate that in. Um, I thought that while that was a detraction, the addition of Splitgate 1 maps was welcome. In fact, there's one map that is my new favorite map, and it's, I believe, I'm not sure of its name. I'll post it in the description, but it just for description's sake, it's a map that is actually moving and is outdoors and is in the desert. Um, it's just a brilliant map. It's multi-leveled, it's moving, it's a desert map. It's just brilliant. If you it's it I do play a game on it. I think on domination. I was lucky enough to get a map that was or a game type that was domination on that map, and that's actually my favorite game type and my favorite map put together right now. If you wanted to see me playing custom games all day, I would basically play that map with that game type all day long, and I would be very happy. Um, that's to let you guys know that Splitgate is fun. I didn't feel like recording this game footage or playing the game was much of a drag. It is fun. I just feel like there are pieces of it that are missing. Um, the battle royale for a bit to me is actually an important subtraction that really wasn't necessary, and would actually help this game grow because of the fact that battle royales are basically all the rage right now. And if they're all the rage, you want to be on the forefront of that. And so I just think they missed the bus when they decided to remove battle royale from the game. Um, what else was there? There are a few things. Ping is king. The battle royale removal was a problem for me. The class system removal is just I just didn't think it was necessary. Um, I don't mind the fact that they mixed and matched the weapons for your character selection types. I completely understand why they would have done that. I actually, like I said earlier, I approve of that change. Um, a lot of the rest of the changes um, are either neutral or things that I don't necessarily agree with. The last one that I do agree with, however, is the usage of your own personal portals to shut down portal opportunities for your enemies on flanks. I loved that they added that feature in. That was not a feature that was there before. Um, and I feel like, as far as map control, it makes it a lot more viable in game modes like King of the Hill and Domination, where you can now lock down a portal wall that is in your vicinity, and your teammates could also do the same. And you can basically lock down all the portal walls near or around given points on the map. So I did approve of that. Um, However, the ping was a consistent issue. Stuttering was a consistent issue. Um, Finding a game with a game mode that wasn't necessarily team deathmatch domination, or no portals, was difficult. And by the way, I think there are at least 10 different game modes, if not 12 or 14. I'm not exactly sure. Um, but there are many, many game modes. And the fact that those game modes are not populated is um, is a huge problem at re-release. Now, in closing, I genuinely understand 1045's dilemma. They invested a ton of money initially into this game's development and marketing. They invested massive amounts of that allocation of their marketing into social media and having, how do I say this, VTubers or Twitchers or people who were full-time content creators. That's basically how I should have put it. Play this game when it released originally as a free to play. And they did that hoping and believing that as a free to play game, they would drive the player numbers up, drive the number of microtransactions up, and such, be able to pay their debts. And as it stands, at least for the moment, they've been able to survive that initial stage. They've been able to pay their debts. They've been able to restyle this game almost 100% to something that resembles not Splitgate 1 or even a new Splitgate 2, but something that to me resembles more Halo Infinite plus Portals. And I say that because because of the removal of the class systems, the zero impact on your selections having impact on team play. These are principal issues for me as far as the game's lifespan going forward. The player base is another, and the ping is the last one. And I think connection ping is probably that, and the player base are the two things that are going to be the life or death of this game ultimately. I think you'll find people that don't care about missing game modes or game types or weapons or items or that the battle royale's missing. And you know what? I may be having a get off my lawn moment, but I'm also entitled to have an opinion. And in my opinion, Splitgate is in a rough place. With that, I just want to thank everybody for coming. I hope it survives, and thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Bye now.